Hey guys, it's Jan, Not a Real Farm. So it's Full Tour Friday, so let's hop right to it. My goodness, is everything really growing this year? On this tour, we'll start out with our blooms. So this year, what we've planted is a short stuff sunflower. We've got one other one up here that is just about to bloom. And right next to it, actually, that came through that's already turning to seed is our edible daisies. Aren't those beautiful? So there's actually quite a few, and they're really tall. I wasn't expecting them. They're probably about 2.5 feet tall, but these are ones that you can actually throw in your salad and eat them. So they're very beautiful. These have already bloomed, and this one is going to seed shortly. And then over here, we have our bachelor's button. So we've got lots of new blooms that are happening, but the ones that have already bloomed are already going to seed. So let's take a look here. So we will be collecting the seed off of our bachelor's button. They're a really pretty cut flower as well. Got new ones that are coming up. Whoops, new ones that are coming up in here. And we've got some begonias stuck down there with our basil and our planter. And further in here, we have a miniature sunflower. So you can see I've got it in front of the well behind my yoga kitty here, and this is a miniature sunflower, so they don't get very big. They get about a foot tall, which is really handy if you like to plant sunflowers but don't necessarily have the room. I put some over here as well. One of our pollinators is sleeping. And then these guys over here, which you guys already know, are my daisy straw flowers. So they're usually closed first thing in the morning. And then what they'll do is they'll open up during the daytime, but you see they just close right up. They're actually a really neat flower. I really enjoy them. And this one, because it was the first one bloomed, is already going to seed. Over here behind the straw flowers, we have our Mexican marigolds. Now, I thought for a minute that there was going to be too much of these, but they actually make the garden pop. I'm really enjoying them. Not only that, but it's kind of twofold where I can take the leaves and make a tea out of them. So some of them have already started to go to seed. They get to be probably about 3 feet tall, but boy, do they push out the blooms. They're really beautiful. We have lavender that has bloomed this year. Actually, quite a bit of lavender. And we also have way up here that I can't even reach. This is a mixture of sunflowers that are going to be red and orange and yellow. So not really sure which is the red, orange, and yellow. I think I might be able to take a look at this one. So this one looks like it's going to be a red. And then, of course, down in here we have our chamomile. So a lot of these are now starting to go to seed. The petals have dropped off. These will dry out and they'll go to seed that we can collect. And here we have our queen lime zinnia. So these are very beautiful, an awesome cut flower. I've left this one here. He's already going to seed, so we'll be collecting that. And check it out. Walking onions. Boy, did I ever score a lot of walking onion seeds this year. Check it out. They're full of seeds. And I let them stay on the stalks here. And they are dry. You can already see the onion papers if we break these off. So we'll be able to separate these, let them cure, and then they're ready to ship out, or we'll be making another onion patch. And climbing way up the trellis here is our black coat runner beans. So similar to scarlet runners, except that the beans are black. And they're beautiful. My artichoke is all gone to seed. Check out all the little mini flowers that are about to bloom on this. I can't wait to see what it does. And then we have our Korean mint. Once again, this smells like black licorice, and it makes an awesome herbal soda if you're looking at making your own sodas at home. And then when we turn around, guys, the outer perimeter box of the greenhouse is full. So we look here, we've got beans, tomatoes in the back. We still have a bunch of blackberries that we have to harvest. Here we've got our cayenne peppers, so they're already starting to drop flowers. An interesting herb that I'm growing this year is evening primrose, so that's started to pop up. And here is our miniature micro tomatoes. So these are called pygmy tomatoes. And you can see how tiny the tomatoes are. They make great salad tomatoes, and they're also great if you don't have a lot of room to grow tomatoes. The blackberries are ready, so I'll be coming through here to harvest those. Oh, check it out. Our cucumbers are making some progress too. Look at this. Cucumber there. Oh, and there's one way on the bottom. Check it out. This guy. So the cucumber plants are doing amazing. Our healthy pepper. Flowers are opening. And down in here, it's very happy. And I'll get really close because it hasn't really gotten any height yet. This is our cumin. So let me see if I can zoom in for you. It's already started here to make little flowers. So there's little flower heads here. And what it will do is it will send up a stalk probably about maybe a foot tall. And inside those flower heads is where we're going to get the seeds from. You'll see these little yellow cards around in the greenhouse. That is so that I can trap whiteflies. The whiteflies really like the sesame. So you can see here the sesame is really starting to take off. I've done 3 plants. You have to have room for sesame. Sesame grows, at least mine grew anyways, to anywhere between, I would say probably about 4.5 feet. So you need room for the sesame. In behind, we've got more cucumber plants, more flowers. Lots of male flowers on this one. More peppers. I'm just going to turn around and look at the floor. We've got our Georgia rattlesnake watermelon. So this watermelon's actually beginning to put on some weight. Doesn't look like much now, but they get between 15 to 20 pounds. Peanuts. Peanuts are doing amazing. They've got really nice height to them. I can't wait to harvest them in the fall. And back here, we have our lychee tomatoes. Boy, they remind me of potato flowers. And then here in the back, just in front of the tomatoes, we have an extremely large pineapple ground cherry patch here. So I usually grow pineapple ground cherries, the regular size ones. I managed to get a hold of seeds that are supposed to actually double them in size. So we'll see what they look like. The peppers are just going to be, oh, we've got one already starting here. So this is an orange bell pepper. Amazing, they look very healthy. More miniature tomatoes, more cucumbers, and climbing all the way up here past the cucumbers. This is actually a kidney bean. Our poblanos are doing amazing. Check it out. Zucchini is up and doing amazing as well. We've actually got quite a lot of zucchini that are starting to develop. And we've got more peppers, tomatoes in the back. All the tomatoes have flowers, and a lot of them are starting to, like this one here. So this one is, you can see that. This one is my Queen of the Night tomato. So these ones were fairly popular last year in the store. Once their colors kicked in, they were really cool, very tasty. We enjoyed them as well, so I'll be going back in the store again. And the peppers, the red peppers are just loaded. Just loaded. I think I have 3 on this one. Let's see. Yep. There's a third one way at the bottom there. If I turn the camera around here, check it out. So remember, we trimmed the leaves on these ones, and this is something you sort of have to do every couple of weeks. But the trimming of the leaves does actually help so that you can get more peppers. As you can see, I'm just loaded up here. The lettuce I have here is now going to flower and is going to start to seed, so that's okay. We'll save it. And there was one pepper I wanted to show you, and I think we passed it. Yes, I believe we did. This one here. So this is a fish pepper, and if you take a look at the leaves, you would think, oh, this pepper has a disease, but it doesn't. The leaves actually bleach out on these peppers, and it's really neat to look at. So this is going to be a hot pepper. You can see how they bleach out. It's going to be a hot pepper, so we'll see how it turns out. But apparently they're really good in chili. That should give you an indication of how hot they are. Back here, I have one plant of black sesame. So we'll see how that grows in here. So far, so good. And if you take a look here, way in the back, our hops are now starting to punch out. So they're going to start climbing the cattle panel. So he wound himself around the stake there. Now he's going to move on up the panel, which is awesome. Walking on through, we've got more cucumbers. Oh my gosh, look at the flowers in here are crazy. Every tomato plant in here now has flowers. So it won't be long now. And then of course on the bottom we have our zucchini. And over here, what we've done is we've cleared out the peas. We've put it in albino pepper. So these are going to be white peppers, white sweet peppers. And here we have miniature lunchbox peppers that are growing. So these will all change different colors. They're the very same lunchbox peppers you get in the grocery store that really don't need to be chopped. They just basically are snack peppers. Check out the blackberries, guys. Look at this. Some of these are just massive. There was one or two, actually, I wanted to show you, but we'll move around the plant. Check it out. Here they are. These are the gigantic blackberries I wanted to show you. Take a look at these monsters. First of all, my branch is weighed down. And secondly, take a look at these monsters. Look how big they are. And it just goes on and on and on. You can look actually up into the blackberry patch here. I've still got tons that I have to actually... I had to stop the camera. I swallowed a bug. Oh my gosh. I still have tons of blackberries that I'm going to be harvesting. Now, in this little planter here, usually I never show my little planters that I have kind of sitting off to the side, but this growing here is actually tea tree. And not tea tree as in tea tree oil, but tea tree. So you're able to actually save this as a tea. It'll grow up into its own tea herb, and you harvest the leaves into its own tea. So I'm kind of excited to see how that grows. And then here we have self-heal. So we're going to transplant these out into a bigger pot. And then we just put some garlic chives on the end. And here we go. We've got more tomatoes. More peppers. This is a pecan tree. He's not very big right now, but he's doing pretty good. Blooming, doing what he's got to do. So we'll be planting him somewhere. I haven't decided where he's going to go. And then back here, some more tomatoes. Is my okra plants. So something is noshing on my okra plants, but that's okay. They're doing okay. And then if we look up, way up, look at the blackberries up there that I've got to climb up now and harvest. And they're actually all the way down the plant. And over in the corner there as well. Wow. Then we get guys like this in here that scare me. As soon as I open up the door, there's a snake. Look at this. Probably explains why I don't have any crickets in here. There he is. There he is. Check him out. Pretty cool, eh? Let's keep on moving. Let him do his thing. Okay, guys, so you can see we will start at the end of the garden beds here. The other 3 that we're going to set up over there are going to be for my garlic. I just decided that I'm going to do that because I have so much garlic to plant this fall. So we're going to reserve 3 beds for those. So here we've got a golden potato that's growing in the bed, and then we're still waiting for our peas to come on up. I had cabbage planted in here, but the bugs decimated it. And I'll show you actually right here. They decimated it. Look at that. So what I decided to do was pull out mostly all of the cabbage that I had growing. And now we have 4 rows of corn, sweet corn, that are growing in here. I know I've planted it late, but let's experiment and see if we can get any corn out of it. In here, we have tomatoes. So these are the ones that I planted from just a branch, and they've already got flowers here, each and every one of them. You can see the flowers. Beans. Happy, healthy beans. Now, Swiss chard and beets. So here are our beet greens. You can see lots and lots of beet greens. And then behind it, we have another row of honey. They're a honey-colored potato that I thought I would try this year. Sort of a golden middle. Supposed to be very buttery. So we will see how they turn out. And if I like them, I'll keep some of the seeds and grow them for next year. I did one more row of them here. And then once more, we have done beet greens and Swiss chard are in here. Beans. Spinach, but take a look. The weather changed so much, the spinach is actually automatically going to seed. Carrots. And then we planted onions. So tiny little onions are starting to come up. And here, we have more peppers along the side here, but I've also planted tomatillos. So purple tomatillos seem to be very happy with the rain. So that's okay. We'll see what we get out of them. And turning around, our raspberry bed. So I decided to put these in a bed simply just to try to contain them a little bit, because raspberries run underground, and the next thing you know, you've got vines sticking out of the ground that you don't necessarily need, or canes sticking out of the ground. So we've put them in here and they've all taken. Who doesn't like raspberry jam in the summertime? It's one of my favorites. And then what I did with the rest of the bed is really just stick extra tomatoes in there that I didn't want to throw out. So I do a lot of trimming of tomato branches, and I just brought them outside and pretty much just stuck them into the ground to see if we could have another harvest of tomatoes, which it looks like we will. There's actually flowers developing on this one right here. So we're doing pretty good back here for the beds. Let's hit the inside of the gate. This is one of my main potato beds, so this is just going to be a Yukon Gold. And then next to that, we have our garlic. Remember I said I have a patch of garlic sort of growing randomly in the middle of them. And what's happening with them is they're actually growing scapes. So I'm going to be checking my garlic today to see what scapes that we can actually harvest. You can see this one right here, actually. Almost ready. I could actually probably cut this right now and use it. So if you want to cut the scapes off, it's good because the bulb will grow bigger. Or if you want to save seed, then you're going to leave the scape on the garlic. The bed's doing amazing. Walking in through the main garden, here is the main big potato bed. Look how tall those are. So they haven't started to die down yet, which means the potatoes are not necessarily ready to harvest. The new potatoes are, but I want to try and get some where I can can them. So there is our Yukon Golds. Here is our oats. I'm trying to keep my shadow off the plants for you guys. Here are my oats. So they're not ready. You have to wait for oats to actually turn, almost like they look like they're dying. The entire plant has to look brown and sort of dying down. So they're not ready yet. Here is my double red sweet corn. My goodness, this is a beautiful corn. Take a look at the stalks. Look at the red stalks. Aren't those beautiful? Let's move on through. Lots and lots of dill in the back here. Lettuce that I can harvest. Wow. The rain has certainly benefited us this year. That is for sure. Over there, you guys know that's my haskap patch. The zucchini is outside doing amazing. Got beautiful, beautiful flowers. The asparagus bed has a lot of weeds in it from the rain, but that's okay. It's doing awesome. Our smokies are doing great because there's been so much rain. And then look at our bed of beans. Look at the beautiful flowers on our beans. Boy, are we ever going to have a harvest. Check it out. Guys, because of the rain, it's almost canning time. Can't wait. Our dill is starting to go to seed, so we're going to be doing some dilly beans. I love those. Look at this. Now, this is another garlic patch, and the scapes are starting to come up on that as well. And then we have here, we actually have a candy roaster. So it's starting to kick out and it's starting to climb the cattle panel. We'll see how successful that is. Candy roasters can get pretty big, so we'll have to manage that, but it's got enough room to sprawl out here, so I'm not really worried. And let's kick it back to the back greenhouse. Oh boy, take a look at this. Look at the red walking onions. Oh my gosh. Wow. Was I kidding when I said that you're not going to be without green onions? This was a very small patch last year. Now each one of them has the seed on top. My goodness. Beautiful. Down in here, forget the weeds. Haha, the weeds have gotten away on me this year because of the rain. But here I've been growing a cosmic lettuce. And it's doing fine back here because this greenhouse gets a lot of shade. So this lettuce is actually still really good to go to eat. But it's really beautiful. Take a look at it's almost like freckles. Love the coloring. But same pattern for the spinach. Because of the weather, the spinach is automatically going to seed. Back here, the cauliflower is taking a beating. But the bug damage isn't as bad as out front. And then all these little things in here that look like grass are actually leeks. And we have one more potato bed that's doing really awesome. My cleavers are growing up in between them. Here is our Mateki garlic. So these are our 1-year-old cloves. So when you replant these in the fall, next year we'll have full-size bulbs, and there is a lot in there. We take a look here. The rhubarb has gone, it's going to seed. I'm not sure if it was the rain this year or the weather patterns, but the rhubarb didn't actually do as good this year as it normally does. I'm going to attribute it to the weather. So back here, I planted a northern garlic, really cold, hardy, awesome. Didn't really have to pay attention to it. I kind of just chucked it in this little planter. Take a look. So it's got its scapes that are ready. Once they curl, you're able to harvest these. If you want your bulbs bigger, if you want to do seed, then you would leave the scapes on. Check that out. They all have scapes. So we'll harvest a few scapes just for fun, for a few bulbs, and then we'll probably let this go to seed so that I can save more seed and plant more of this. This was actually a very enjoyable garlic. And swooping on through, we've got nothing but strawberries. Now I have to come in and do some weeding, and when it decides to stop raining, I even have a volunteer tomato plant coming up. Check it out. Lots and lots of strawberry plants. So the harvest should be good this year. These are all new strawberry plants. I wasn't expecting to have a harvest this year, but it looks like I'll be back here to gather some strawberries later. Awesome. And I'm back in the greenhouse and my friend is still here. Boy, there must be some good eating in here. He's pretty cool. Okay, guys, that's it for me for Full Tour Friday. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions, please pop them below. Check out our Etsy store at notarealfarm.etsy.com. See you soon.